Today let's talk about something that doesn't get much spotlight. Baypole screws.
Right, those zinc-plated boxes of 100 may not look exciting, but they're vital in construction.
Absolutely. For starters, do you know why they're called Baypole screws?
It's because they're mainly used when installing bay windows to fix poles or mullions securely.
The zinc plating is interesting too. Why is that important?
Zinc plating helps prevent rust, especially in environments where moisture could be a problem.
That's crucial for windows, right? Rain and condensation are always present.
Exactly. Without proper coating, ordinary screws would corrode and weaken over time.
So when you buy a box of 100, you're not just buying quantity, but consistent quality.
True, and consistency is vital in construction. No one wants a window that creaks or shifts.
Have you ever been on a job where using the wrong screws caused issues?
Oh, definitely. I remember a renovation where someone used regular wood screws and within months, the window frame started loosening.
That sounds frustrating. How did you fix it?
We had to remove the frame, replace all the screws with Baypole screws and patch up the plasterwork. It was a lesson learned.
That's a lot of extra work for skipping over the right fixings.
It is. Sometimes people try to save a little money, but it ends up costing much more in repairs.
It reminds me of that saying, don't be penny-wise and pound foolish.
Exactly. Using the right screw seems minor, but it's fundamental.
I noticed that these Baypole screws come in boxes of 100. Is that a standard quantity for installers?
Pretty much. For most bay window projects, you'll use dozens of screws, so having a full box ensures you don't run out mid-job.
I guess running out halfway through would be a nightmare, especially if the store is far away.
Not to mention, you want all the screws to match, both in size and finish for strength and aesthetics.
Speaking of aesthetics, do you think people even notice the screws once the job is done?
Probably not, unless they're poking around with a magnifying glass. But the peace of mind is in the sturdiness.
I suppose there's a certain satisfaction in knowing the work is solid, even if it's hidden.
Absolutely. Good craftsmanship is often invisible, but always appreciated in the long run.
Let's talk about installation. Are Baypole screws tricky to use compared to other fixings?
They're pretty straightforward. Usually they have a sharp point and deep thread, so they bite into UPVC or steel reinforcement easily.
Is there any tip for beginners installing bay windows with these?
I'd say always pre-drill pilot holes, especially in tougher materials. It makes alignment easier and avoids splits.
That's good advice. And what about torque? Can you over-tighten these screws?
Definitely. If you over-tighten, you risk stripping the thread or damaging the material.
So a careful hand is needed. Maybe not the time for power tools on full blast.
Right, slow and steady wins the race here.
I'm curious about the length of these screws. Are they standardized, or do they vary?
They come in different lengths, but Baypole screws are typically longer to go through multiple layers, like UPVC, steel, and sometimes timber.
Makes sense since they have to hold heavy windows securely.
Exactly. The right length ensures the screw anchors into the reinforcement, not just the surface.
Have you ever come across a situation where the screws were too short?
Yes, and it's a disaster. The frame can shift, or worse, the window could drop out of alignment.
That sounds like a safety hazard, especially for upper-story windows.
It definitely is. Safety is one more reason not to cut corners with Baypole screws.
Let's shift gears a bit. The box packaging. How important is that for professionals?
Very. A sturdy box keeps screws organised and easy to transport between sites.
Nothing worse than a pile of loose screws rattling around the van, right?
Absolutely. Plus, the box usually has clear labelling for size, finish and quantity.
That makes restocking and ordering much simpler.
Yes, and for larger projects, it's easy to calculate how many boxes you'll need.
Do you think the average DIYer knows about Baypole screws, or is this more of a pro secret?
I think most DIYers stick to general-purpose screws, unless they've done window replacements before.
Maybe this podcast will help demystify some of these specialist fixings.
I hope so. The right hardware can make or break a project, literally.
Are there any common mistakes people make when using Baypole screws?
One is mixing materials, using Baypole screws in timber without reinforcement, or vice versa.
So always check what you're fixing into before choosing your screws.
Definitely. And keep an eye on corrosion. Even with zinc plating, outdoor exposure can be harsh.
Would you recommend checking the screws periodically, especially in older installations?
Yes. A quick inspection every few years can catch issues before they become bigger problems.
That's a good maintenance tip.
Also, if you're working on a heritage building, make sure the screws are compatible with existing materials.
Heritage work always adds another layer of complexity.
It does. Sometimes you need to source specialized screws or coatings to match traditional materials.
At the end of the day, paying attention to these details is what separates a good job from a great one.
Couldn't agree more.
Before we wrap up, is there one thing you wish everyone knew about Baypole screws?
Just that they're small but mighty. Don't underestimate the impact of using the right fixing.
I like that. Small but mighty.
Maybe not as glamorous as power tools, but just as important.
Well, thanks for tuning in to our deep dive into Baypole screws.
If you're planning a window project, remember the right screw can make all the difference.
And for our listeners, next time you look at a bay window, think about the hidden heroes holding it all together.
Until next time, keep building smart.